Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 12th of November, today is 12th of December, and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in this particular video, we are going to discuss entire analysis of Hindu newspaper. We'll take all the articles along with the detailed background as well as way forward. And also I would like to tell you that you can download this particular session from the Telegram, this particular notes of this particular session from the Telegram channel. Now, let's start with the newspaper discussion. And first of all, we will take overview of the newspaper so that you can understand that which articles are actually relevant in today's newspaper. So let's take the overview. Now, the first article that we have here is Supreme Court upholds repeal of Jammu and Kashmir special status. Okay. So, Supreme Court upholds repeal of Jammu and Kashmir special status. Now, let's understand this particular article little bit and then we'll see how to deal with this. So, basically guys, what has happened? You all might be knowing that Jammu and Kashmir has a special status. It enjoyed far more autonomy because of Article 370 that was there in the Constitution of India. Even Jammu and Kashmir had a separate constitution. Laws that were enacted for the country could not be applied to Jammu and Kashmir without the concurrence of the state assembly. Now, in 2019, the special status of Jammu Kashmir got scrapped and Jammu and Kashmir got converted in the union territory. Now, this particular matter was appealed in Supreme Court that the manner in which Article 370 got diluted, the manner in which Jammu and Kashmir's status got changed, whether that was constitutional or not, this particular petition was filed. Now, what has happened yesterday, after the gap of 4 years nearly, Supreme Court has gave its ruling with respect to Jammu and Kashmir, and prima facie, and just what they have said that it was not wrong to scrap Article 370. Article 370 was a temporary feature. Okay, so therefore, government, whatever it did, it was well in the power of the government to do that. It was not unconstitutional. Okay, this is what Supreme Court had said in this particular ruling. Now, guys, understand this particular thing that when we talk about this entire issue, that is special status of Jammu and Kashmir, it got changed. Okay, the Supreme Court's judgments. Now, this particular judgment is a pretty big judgment. This judgment is not only talking about Jammu and Kashmir, but it also has talked on certain things which will have implication on federalism. For example, president rule. Okay, also on that particular thing, this ruling has gone. I am tracking this particular entire ruling since yesterday, and I have read so many articles on this particular thing that, guys, I have decided that rather than taking this particular development here, today itself I will make a dedicated video on entire Jammu and Kashmir issue, where we will track this Jammu and Kashmir matter since the inception of constitution, then what happened in 2019, and what now judgment has come, and what will be the implication of this particular judgment for the future. So I think that it will be a long video, approximately 30-40 minutes at least, or even it can go beyond that. So I just want to give you one-stop solution for this entire Jammu and Kashmir issue, covering the static as well as covering the dynamic current affairs. So today itself I will make a dedicated video in which all these articles as well as articles from other newspapers such as Indian Express, Hindustan Times, etc., all that I will cover. Why I am doing this particular thing, guys? Because see this thing, that for so many days now, there will be unlimited number of editorials, articles that will come, and there the entire YouTube will be filled with the videos related to Jammu and Kashmir. But I want that you should have only one stop solution, one video which you need to watch, and which should entirely be focused on UPSC. There should not be any political drama and all such things, because if not important for exam, we are not going to cover. So one dedicated video I will make today, and in that I will take this particular matter, and that is the approach that I am going to cover it. Okay, because I think that we should do complete justice to this particular article, which therefore a separate video this article deserves. Okay, BJP springs as surprise. Now, not important article. These are just the political articles. Okay, then GNU bans protest near academic complexes. Okay, it is in the aftermath of actually the judgment that has come. And then we have these advertisements, regional issues, etc. Nothing much important has been given, so directly will reach to editorial section. Okay, and in editorial section, omnious anti-federal. Now this entire big long article is there, also talking on Jammu and Kashmir development. I will take this particular thing also. Okay, then here we have in the side decrypting today's Psephology and anti-incumbency. Now, this particular article, guys, is talking about anti-incumbency, BJP's performance, Congress's performance. Okay, largely in the aftermath of elections and what are the stakes that are going to be there. The article is talking on that particular line. For examination, the article does not contain that much of a substance. However, below article is a very good and a beautiful article. Harvest the Odisha story to ensure food security. So, Odisha's case study with respect to food security, agriculture sector reforms that they have taken have been given. Will cover this particular article, a very good article, directly can be used in exam. Then next page, Decoding Putin's dramatic visit to Gulf. We'll see this particular article again, a very good article for examination. Now, state of play article, political churning in Punjab. The major parties find how they are in a state of a flux. AAP, Congress, Akali Dal, BJP. Again, no need to go in the article for examination. Okay, then next moving on, surge in illegal Indian migrants crossing into the US from India. Then we have this text and context page. In text and context, first article that we have, can Bihar increase its reservation pool? Now, we'll take this particular article for examination. What are FSB's concerns about crypto asset intermediaries? We'll take this particular article also for the examination. Understanding web browsers, how do they work? Okay, then after that, now peaceful Kashmir watches verdict with bated breath. Fine Shah welcomes SC verdict. Okay, so on that particular line it has been given. Okay, moving on, guys, in this particular direction. Moving on in this particular direction, I will take all these things, don't worry. Moving on in this particular direction. Okay, we have here the world page, and on world page, civilians caught in crossfire. Fine, this is again Ukraine, sorry, Israel Gaza war that is going on. Draft climate deal fails to phase out fossil fuel. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then we have these tenders, etc. Inflation is stable now, finance minister, and this might be the reason that what has happened recently, just a couple of days back, monetary policy committee gave its review and it decided that repo rate will not be changed. It will be kept unchanged, which is also a signal that inflation is now stabilizing. Okay, moving on, guys. After that, we have here some of the corporate trends, etc. 70% semiconductor setup cost borne by the government. So, guys, already we have seen this particular thing, though the article does not contain much of a substance, but let me tell you that what has happened, we see this particular thing that government under the production linked incentive scheme is offering the support for establishing semiconductor fabrication in India, and up to 70% of the cost of developing a semiconductor plant or semiconductor facility is being borne by India government. Okay, so they say that now it is the best time to develop semiconductors in India. So this is just a statement that was just a statement that was given by the Secretary of Electronics and Information Technology. Okay, then we have, guys, the sports page. Okay, and after the sports page, let's see what article is there in science page. Some days there are good articles in science page, but some days articles might not be that much relevant. So let's see what article today is there in science page. So today's article is Origin Mystery of Mummified Baboons Finally Cracked. Okay, so the Egyptian god Thoth was represented by a baboon. Okay, now baboons are not native to Egypt. Okay, so how this thing came to be, there were a lot of conspiracy theories, etc. that were there. So on that particular thing, it has been provided. Now, guys, understand this thing. For UPSC examination, such mysteries are not asked, because whatever viewpoint will be there, that will just be a theory which has not been proved. Okay, so such things are not asked in the examination. So that is all, guys, about this overview. And now let's discuss all the relevant articles one by one in the detail. Good morning, sir. I want to talk with you. I need guidance, please. Okay, dear. You can reach me out on Telegram, and anybody having any concern can reach me out through Telegram directly. I will write my handle name on Telegram, by which you can send me the direct message. So I'm writing it here. So you go to Telegram, and in Telegram there will be the search bar at the top, and in that search bar, @ Sahil thinking palette. Okay, without any space. There is no space. @Sahil thinking palette. Okay, you can directly message me on Telegram and can get connected if there is any concern. Okay, fine. Now, moving on, and let's discuss these articles one by one in detail. Okay, now every class we start with a GS quotation, and idea of this quotation is to give you certain content which you can utilize in your examination in GS paper or in essay paper. So today we will take quotation from Fernando Cardoso. So Fernando Cardoso says, democracy is not just a question of having a vote. It consists of strengthening each citizen's possibility and capacity to participate in the deliberations involved in life in society. So democracy is not just giving the vote, okay, because if it is just about vote, then you are just instilling the rule of majoritarianism, where the majority people having majority of vote can do anything. But democracy is not that. Democracy is much more than that. Democracy is beyond that. Democracy is about empowering. Democracy is about capacity building. Democracy is giving an opportunity to everyone, irrespective of their status, irrespective of their religion, that they can influence the life, that they can decide their life choices, that they can participate in deliberations, discussions which are involved in life in a society. So you can use this particular quotation for GS paper number 2, polity and governance. Also, you can use this particular idea in essay, because now a philosophical flair based essays are coming more. So there also you can utilize it. So that is about the quotation. And now let's discuss first article that we are going to take. Okay. Can Bihar increase its reservation pool? Okay. Now this particular article will take with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to polity, governance, okay, social justice. Within the social justice, issues related to reservation. We are going to see this particular article. Okay. Now before going in this article, let me tell you some basic context so that you can understand or make sense of this particular article more. So context is this, guys, that what happened. See, Bihar government recently has released their caste survey, and as per this particular caste survey, they provide this particular thing that backward classes population within the state of Bihar is around 63%. Okay, 63% people in Bihar, they belonged to the backward classes. Okay. In total, backward classes, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, their number is 85%. Okay, and general unreserved category people, their population is just 15%. But when we talk about the backward classes, their population happens to be 63%. Okay. Now guys, see this particular thing. Today, you know this thing that constitution provides for reservation for certain people on the basis of their social background. Economic category criteria has also been added after 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act. I will talk on that. Okay, so on the social situation, on the social background, Constitution allows for the reservation. Let's see first of all how much reservation is given. Okay, so basically, scheduled caste category people, they can avail the reservation. 15% reservation is given to them. Scheduled tribe people, they are given 7.5% reservation. And when we talk about the OBCs, okay, other backward classes, they have been given 27% reservation. Now, OBC have been given 27% reservation, but this reservation was not given from the start of the constitution. It was given in 1990, on the basis of Mandal Commission, Now, Mandal Commission was constituted in 1979. It gave its report in 1980, and in that particular report suggested that 27% reservation should be given to OBC people. However, after 10 years, that is in 1990, this 27% reservation was given to OBC people. Okay, now a question comes in the mind that why only 27% reservation was given. Now their population, according to Mandal Commission, was at that point of a time actually more. According to Mandal Commission, their population was beyond 50%, around 52%, but still they were given 27% reservation. Why? Because guys, there has been a precedence that reserved categories or reserved seats should not go beyond 50%, should not go beyond 50%. So already 15 and 7.5% was being given. So the space that was left was only 27%, because if we add 15 plus 7.5 plus 27, it becomes 49.5%. Okay. So in order that they don't cross 50% limit, the space that was available was only 27%, and therefore 27% reservation was given. Okay. Now guys, what actually has happened? Bihar government, they carried caste survey, and they found that backward class people's population in Bihar is 63%. But reservation that is given is 27%. Reservation that is given is 27%. So now they are saying this particular thing, that actually we want to increase this 27% reservation. We want to increase this 27% reservation so that proportionate reservation can be given to the people of the backward classes. This is what has happened up till now. This is entire background that you should know first. Okay. Now, if you have this background in your mind, then reading article will not take you even 2 minutes. Okay. Now, let's go in this particular article. So, basically, guys, what happened? Now, keep background in mind and now read the first paragraph. All the things will be clear to you. So, basically, what has happened? The Governor of Bihar recently has approved 2 of the laws, and these particular laws have increased the quantum of reservation in Bihar. So basically, quantum of reservation for jobs and educational institutions have been increased to 75%, which includes 20% reservation. Out of 75%, 20% reservation is for scheduled caste, 2% reservation is for scheduled tribe, okay. Then 18% for other backward classes, 25% for extremely backward classes, and 10% for economically weaker sections. Now, if we talk about the backward classes, how much reservation is given to them? 25 plus 18. 25 plus 18. Okay. 43% reservation. 43% reservation. Okay. If you see, earlier it was 27%, but now it has been increased. Okay. So basically now, guys, if you see, how much reservation? 75% reservation. If 75% reservation is being given, don't you think that the rule that reservation should not be beyond 50% is broken? Yes, that rule is broken. So therefore, there is now a constitutional challenge that has come to this particular law, that can you cross that 50% limit, yes or no? Now, from where this 50% limits idea comes? Let's see Supreme Court judgment in that particular regard. So basically, guys, what happened? So if we talk about 2 of the judgments, 1963, there is M.R. Balaji case. And in this M.R. Balaji case, Supreme Court provided this particular thing, that reservation is an exception to the rule of equality. They said that reservation is an exception to the rule of equality, and reservation is a special provision. So being an exception and being a special provision, it needs to be minimally, and therefore they said that reservation should not go beyond 50%. Reservation should not go beyond 50%. And this same thing was upheld, or the similar thing was repeated by Supreme Court in Mandal case. In 1990, this particular case is also called as the Indira Sahani case. Actually, Indira Sahani case is the formal name, but we also refer to as Mandal case. So Mandal case or Indira Sahani case, it also ruled that 50% limit should not be breached, 50% limit should be followed. Okay, so basically, guys, this particular thing can itself becomes a question. Are reservation a facet of equality rather than exception to it? Okay, so you can have different viewpoints in this particular direction. Now, moving on, guys, in this particular direction, Indira Sahani judgment also said one very important thing. They said this particular thing, that reservation should be adequate and not proportionate. Not proportionate means, suppose if backward classes people population, let's say in the case of Bihar is 63%, it is not needed that if their population is 63%, it is not needed that reservation should also be 63%. Okay, proportional reservation is not needed. Adequate reservation is needed. Adequate reservation is needed. And this is the reason now listen very carefully. This is the reason that Mandal Commission provided that population of backward classes people is 52%. Okay, but reservation that was proposed was 27%. Now, is it proportional? No, it is not proportional, because proportional means if 52% population, then reservation also to be 52%, that is proportional. But it is adequate. It means that if you reserve these many seats, people from backward classes aspiring to get government job or aspiring to get admission in an educational institution will be able to get it. So this is the rule that is now being followed. But now what has happened, Bihar government is trying to increase the reservation. They are going towards proportional reservation. They are going towards proportional reservation. So this is the thing that has happened. Now moving on guys, when we talk about Mandal case in 1990, which says that reservation should be 50%, can this rule never be breached? Is there some exception to this rule? Yes. If state wants, they can increase the reservation quantum from 50%, but there needs to be some special condition. What are the special conditions that will be there? Number one, they can increase reservation for those communities which come from far-flung areas. Let's say some community living in Andamans and have severely been neglected in development. So communities coming from far-flung areas and who have been kept out of the mainstream of the society. These particular communities, for them reservation can be provided, and even if it will go beyond 50%, not a problem. Okay. Secondly guys, what has happened? Supreme Court now. 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act was brought by Government of India, and this 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act provided additional reservation to people on the basis of economic criteria, economically weaker section. Now if I just give you a breakup so that you understand it better, how much reservation actually now is given at the level of the center, let's do the breakup, basic maths. So scheduled caste community getting 15% reservation. Scheduled tribe community getting 7.5% reservation, OBCs 27% reservation, and EWS, economically weaker section, 10% has been given to them. So in total 59.5%, roughly 60%, 59.5 or roughly 60% reservation is being given. Now again, it is a breach of Indira Sahani case or Mandal case 1990, which said that reservation cannot go beyond 50%, it is a breach. But now this matter, 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act, when it was brought, fine, it was also challenged in Supreme Court that this 10% reservation is breaching Mandal case. Supreme Court already few months back has given its ruling and said that it can be given. Okay, it can be given. So this is again an exception that is there. So basically, if Bihar laws, which have increased reservation to 75%, if they have to stand that judicial test, government of Bihar should be able to justify that this enhanced reservation that Bihar government is giving, it is catering to community coming from far-flung areas, or people, it is catering to those communities which have been kept out of the social mainstream. But listen, this is not the justification given by Bihar government. They have what justification they have given. So Mr. Nitish Kumar, he had said this particular thing, that what is their intention? Intention is to increase the quantum of reservation in view of the result of the caste census. Now, what is the result of caste census? Result of caste census is this, that they have shown that population of backward class people has increased to 63%. So in light of this understanding, they are increasing reservation. Means they are trying to make reservation proportional. But So what is Supreme Court rule? Supreme Court rule is that reservation should not be proportional, reservation should be adequate. And this they have upheld in the Mandal case also, and in M.R. Balaji case also they have upheld this particular thing. Okay, this is something that has happened. But guys, see, it is not the first time that Bihar government has done this. Many state governments, by passing of special laws, they have increased the quantum of reservation, and that they laws are continuing also. And here we have some examples. For example, Chhattisgarh gives 72% reservation, Tamil Nadu gives 69% reservation, okay, and northeastern states such as Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, they are giving 80% reservation. And when we talk about Andaman, when we talk about the Lakshadweep has given 100% reservation for scheduled tribes. Okay, so these laws have continued. Okay, sometimes, certain times, the Supreme Court has ruled out. Certain times, the Supreme Court has ruled out the reservation, increase reservation also. For example, previously Maharashtra and Rajasthan has enhanced the reservation. And Maharashtra issue is a new issue. Maratha reservation was given, additional Maratha reservation was given. That thing was said that you cannot go with this. But many other state governments are continuing with enhanced reservation. So what will happen in Bihar's case? We need to see this with the passage of time. But this is the entire development up till now, including basic background, history, and present development. I hope that you have understood it. And now, moving to next article. Okay, harvest the Odisha story to ensure food security. Harvest the Odisha story to ensure food security. Okay, now we'll take this particular article with respect to GS paper number 1, 2, issues of hunger. Issues of hunger, they are directly mentioned, explicitly mentioned in GS1 and GS2 syllabus, issues of hunger. We can also take this particular article with respect to the GS paper number 3, agriculture sector reforms. Agrarian reforms, agriculture sector reforms. Okay, agriculture reforms, or with respect to the issues of food security also, GS paper number 3, we can take this particular article. So this article is going to have application in both all three GS1, 2 and 3 papers. Find a very good article, and an excellent case study have been provided, and I will insist to you that please ensure that you are collecting these case studies which are reported in editorials. If you remember, a few days back we have, for example, today we'll discuss the case study of Odisha with respect to food security. Few days back we have discussed one more case study of Odisha with respect to the reforms in school education. Even I have shared that particular thing in the YouTube community post. So community posts are these 3, 4, 5 infographics that I upload every day at 6 p.m. in the evening. So if you don't know, 6 p.m. in evening, every day I upload 4 or 5 page infographics which will be giving you either some good case study or which will cover some topic. So there I have also shared this Odisha case study. So please keep on collecting such case studies. Now, guys, you see this particular thing. Right now, world is grappling with the climate change and a lot of dangers of climate change. Fine. Now, climate change brings natural hazards is a very big concern of the climate change, but at the same time, climate change is also leading to food insecurity problem. Now, as we talk about climate change, it has been said that natural disasters will increase to 560 per year, means 1.5 natural disaster every day. Hunger and malnutrition are expected to grow by 20%. And food productivity is expected to decline by 21% due to global warming, due to changing rainfall patterns. So, hunger is going to increase, population is going to increase, food production is going to decline. So, this particular gap will lead or will aggravate the hunger problem. And as we talk about hunger already has been taken. We have taken Sustainable Developmental Goals in 2015, and as per Sustainable Developmental Goal number 2, zero hunger goal has been taken, and India is also implementing it. So basically, in order to reach the SDG goal 2 of zero hunger, we need to bring certain substantial reforms in our food production patterns, in our agriculture patterns. So here we can learn some valuable lessons from Odisha. Now, what Odisha has done in this particular regard. So basically guys, if we talk about Odisha, Odisha has been given sometimes some Odisha has been given sometimes even the derogatory titles or remarks. For example, when we talk about the Kalahandi district of Odisha, it was earlier referred to as the land of hunger. It was earlier referred to as the land of hunger. But Odisha has changed all this particular thing. Odisha used to import rice from other states of the country. But what now Odisha has done? Odisha now, rather than importing the rice, Odisha has crossed the rice production, record rice production they have achieved, that is 13.6 million tons, which is highest production in the food record. Okay. Also guys, if I tell you about the Odisha, now the Kalahandi district of Odisha, which was earlier called as the land of hunger, now it is being called as the Odisha's rice ball. It is being called as Odisha's rice ball. Moreover, Odisha, what they have done, average rice yield per hectare rice production, they have tripled the per hectare rice productions. So point is that they have increased their agricultural production not by increasing the area. Land area has remained the same, but on the same land area they have tripled up the rice production, and by that they are able to tackle their hunger problem, and now they are able to achieve the self-sufficiency in food production. One more thing guys, I just wanted to tell you so that you can understand that how impressive the reforms of Odisha are. See this particular thing, that as we talk about the Odisha, on the state ranking index for the National Food Security Act, Odisha has achieved the top rank. Odisha has achieved the top rank on state ranking index for the National Food Security Act. Means now National Food Security Act aims to provide subsidized food grains, now free food grains, to 66% population of the country, and in the ranking of the states or the list of the states who are doing good performance there, Odisha is first. Also guys, when we talk about the Odisha has also implemented a lot of technologies. For example, they have implemented the biometric technology in the TPDS in Raigad district in 2007. So 2007, when technology was in its nascent stage, then they implemented the biometric technology. So all these particular things are the achievements of Odisha. Okay, please download the synoptic notes I have given. Now let's understand that how Odisha has been able to do all this, how it has been able to achieve all this particular thing, and these step by step can be your ready-made answer. So here guys, what I have done, I have divided this entire thing in the steps that Odisha have taken, and it can be your ready-made answer. Number 1, Odisha implemented their flagship Kalia scheme. Now this Kalia scheme stands for Krushak Assistance for Livelihood and Income Augmentation. In this particular scheme, dedicated assistance to farmers have been given. Dedicated assistance have been given that how they can improve how they can improve their incomes. Okay. Also, what has happened, scientific crop management has been taken up. Now, how by optimizing fertilizers, how by optimizing inputs, how by analyzing the soil texture, and see, every soil will support a particular type of a crop. Okay. Now, what often we do, rather than seeing that what type of crop can be supported by a soil, fine, we don't analyze that. Fine, let's say if the soil is not able to support paddy, we still grow paddy by using more and more fertilizer, by putting more and more chemicals. Okay, so what they have done, they have gone for scientific crop management practices, and digital technologies have been given to farmers. Also, what has happened, they have increased even the non-paddy crop cultivation. Okay. Then Odisha Millet Mission, by which they have diversified their food basket. Now guys, when we talk about the paddy, fine, this happens to be an issue that there is an over reliance on paddy, but they have diversified their food basket and have focused on millets. Then also what has happened, see, agriculture will be impacted hugely by climate change. Because if we talk about India, large farms in India, agricultural fields, they are of rain-fed nature, means they are dependent on rain. But because of climate change, monsoonal rains will be shifted and automatically it will have a huge impact on agriculture. So what Odisha is facing, Odisha, because of its geographical location is even more vulnerable to climate change. It is even more vulnerable to climate change. So therefore, Odisha has prepared a comprehensive climate change action plan. Comprehensive climate change action plan in which they analyze that how climate change will impact Odisha and what should be Odisha's response. And this climate change action plan, it covers that how different sectors of Odisha will be impacted by climate change. For example, agriculture, how it will be impacted, how coastal zones will be impacted, and what type of coastal zone protection is needed, energy, fisheries, okay, animal resources, forest, health, industry, on all these sectors which will be the impact of climate change. And this climate change action plan, it has been formulated by the team of experts from multiple departments, and even from civil society they have taken the input. And then guys, what happened, they have also developed their approach towards climate resilience. Their approach toward development is bottom up. Now there is a top down approach and bottom up approach. Top down approach means decisions, policy are made at the higher level and they are imposed on the lower level. But what is bottom up approach? In bottom up approach, inputs are taken from the communities, inputs are taken from the civil societies. What exactly the problem people are facing on ground, they are analyzed, and on the basis of that particular input, policy is made and then policy is given to them. So when we talk about the bottom to top, it is more a democratic way of policy making. And in Odisha, they have followed the bottom up approach. Also, Odisha has established the Crop Weather Watch Group. Crop Weather Watch Group, which conducts weekly meetings, organizes video conferences to see the crop program, the crop program. It analyzes the weather conditions and give advanced advisories to the farmers so that they can take steps, find if there is some kind of an impending weather crisis if it is coming. Okay, so this analyzes impending droughts, impending climatic condition, rainfall patterns, cyclones if they are approaching. Okay, also then what is happening, crop planning. Planning is done at the district level by officials of allied departments considering the agroclimatic zone. Now this is very important, and I have given many number of times a case study to you. I'll again use that case study to make this particular point more understandable to you. See, Haryana, Punjab, they are one of the big time growers of paddy. Now, when we talk about the paddy needs, one basic condition for growing paddy is that it needs at least 100 centimeter of rainfall. But Haryana and Punjab, they are seeing the rainfall in the range of 40 to 55 centimeter. So means the rains are not sufficient to grow paddy in Haryana and Punjab, but still they are growing paddy. How they are growing? By utilizing the groundwater, which has led to another problem of Haryana and Punjab, that is declining water tables. So agroclimatic zone wise, paddy is not suitable for Haryana and Punjab. Okay, so what is happening in Odisha at the district level? Now every district or a particular type of a districts will have a particular type of one climatic condition, and given that climatic condition, particular crop can be grown there and it will thrive also. So every district decides that what is our climatic condition, what is the condition of water, what is the condition of weather, and on that particular basis they decide as what type of crop should be grown there. And also farmers are adapting to climate resilient cultivation practices. Integrated farming, zero input based natural farming. Now zero input based natural farming is where you either don't use chemical inputs or you use minimal inputs. Okay, non-paddy crops, because diversification is important. Millets, they are growing. Better water management. Okay, for example, rather than flooding the field, they are using drip irrigation, they are using sprinkler irrigation, water saving devices, e-pest surveillance, large scale farm mechanization, so that disguised employment problem of agriculture can be solved. Okay, then also the farmers are being trained. Training of farmers is being done in crop specific techniques. Okay, also guys, because of this particular thing, now if we see, as per the data 2020-21 data, Odisha produces 9% of the total rice of India and accounts to 4.22% of total food grain productions of the country. So this is something that Odisha has done, and taking the cue from Odisha, taking lesson from Odisha, such far comprehensive agriculture reforms should be implemented by other states also. Now, agriculture reforms of Odisha that we have discussed here in these 7 points, this is a ready-made answer for agriculture reforms if a question comes, and I am highly hopeful that such questions will come. Okay, so please use it. Please use it. Now, moving on to the next article. Moving on to the next article. Decoding Putin's dramatic visit to the Gulf. Decoding Putin's dramatic visit to the Gulf. We'll take this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, International Affairs. International Affairs. Okay. Now, guys, if you have seen, we have, I think, seen yesterday or the day before yesterday article that Russian President Mr. Putin is looking forward for one more tenure as a president. Okay. So basically, guys, what has happened? If you see, post 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea, after that Russia and West equation got disturbed. A lot of sanctions were imposed by West on the Russia. Okay, and what happened as Russia-Ukraine war got started? Even more sanctions were imposed on Russia, and Russia was isolated from the world. And post Russia-Ukraine war got started, Russian president has not made much of the visits to other countries. But what has happened recently? Russian president made surprise visits. Okay, see this particular thing. So he made surprise visits to Abu Dhabi, Riyadh in one day, and he also met Iranian president. In Russia, in Moscow. And after these high profile meetings in Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, and after meeting the Iranian president, Vladimir Putin announced that he is going to run for next, he is standing for the elections in 2024. And possibly till 2030 and even beyond, it means that Russian president Mr. Putin is going to continue. Okay. Now these particular visits indicate some very important things. It has a lot of symbolism attached to that, and it is also indicating the equations that are changing in West Asia. Okay. Now why it bothers India? Understand this particular thing, guys. Now India is not only pursuing the look east or act east, but also India is pursuing the act west policy. And for that, West Asia happens to be of a special interest for India. Also, West Asia happens to be a region, okay, where India has a big market. Also, for India's energy security, West Asia happens to be an important region for India. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. So, what can be points that were discussed in this particular meeting of Russia? So first of all, Russian spokesperson has defines that these discussions in the Gulf capitals are a concentrated shot. And what is the agenda? Agenda is very clear. What are the agenda items? Number 1, continued cooperation among OPEC plus. So OPEC stands for Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC plus. Now guys, when we talk about the OPEC plus, it is a cartel of oil producing nations. Right now see, Russia happens to be one of the biggest producer of crude oil. And understand this particular thing. See, right now a lot of sanctions have been imposed by the West on Russia, and Russia needs money to sustain war in Ukraine. Also, it needs money for their economic well-being. But as Western sanctions have been imposed, Russia is counting on its oil exports. Now, what USA has done? USA has tried to influence the OPEC countries so that they impose price caps on oil. Russia does not want that, because if price caps will be imposed on oil and Russia, then Russia's profitability, Russia's revenue will decline. So Russia and OPEC countries, they should be on a same page that they will produce and will not be agreeing to US's pressure of imposing any price cap. Are you getting it or not? So such kind of for this, OPEC and Russia needs to be on the same page. Fine. So this is the cooperation of OPEC plus that was important. Then exchange of views on Ukraine. Now see, now I see this particular thing that as war got started between Israel and Hamas on Gaza, this is a kind of a blessing in disguise for Russia. Now see this particular thing. Now as Israel is attacking continuously on Gaza, and as Palestinians, they are dying, they are suffering, what has happened again, the sympathy for Palestinian cause has re-emerged in Gulf world. In Gulf world. Now West is outrightly supporting Israel. West is outrightly supporting Israel. So what has happened? Palestinians and Gulf countries, they are infuriated. They are angry from the West. And Russia is now coming from the backside. And Russia is saying that we are with you. We are with you. Now, obviously, when Russia will support Palestinian cause, when Russia will share the sympathy for Palestinians along with the Gulf, automatically Russia will get a support for Ukraine. Russia will get a support for Ukraine. So basically what has happened, views on Ukraine, Gaza conflicts, they have been shared. Russia might have said to them that we support you on Gaza, and Gulf countries might have shown that, okay, we'll support you on Ukraine. Okay. Also, humanitarian assistance for Palestinians, how it can be given, how bilateral political economic ties can be raised. These are all the agenda items that were discussed as this particular visit was made. Now, guys, if we see, actually cooperation between West Asia and Russia has increased in the past few years. Now, earlier also we have taken some excellent articles on this particular line. Now, before going on in this, let's discuss some additional thing. See, now when we talk about USA has been traditionally actively involved in West Asia. But now USA is following the policy of deprioritization of West Asia. And as USA is following the policy of deprioritization of West Asia, it is exit or it is not actively present in West Asia. Now you see this particular thing. First of all, exit from Afghanistan happened in 2021. Then Russia-Ukraine war got started. Okay, so what has happened? USA has been largely absent and Russia is filling this particular space and cooperation has increased. You see this particular thing. First of all, when we talk about the UAE and Saudi Arabia, they have been supportive of USA and they have been aligned towards USA, but Saudi Arabia and UAE had started following their strategic autonomy. Now guys, India also follows the strategic autonomy or transactional approach. As per India's strategic autonomy, India says that we don't have any permanent friend, we don't have any permanent enemy. We will cooperate with the country on the basis of our needs and on the basis of our interest. So UAE and Saudi Arabia are also now following strategic autonomy, where they say that USA, we will now not going to be influenced by your foreign policy, and we will not neglect Russia. We will cooperate with Russia if Russia helps us. So because of this particular thing, now Saudi Arabia and UAE, they are expanding their relations with China and Russia. Also guys, what is happening? Now UAE happens to be a big time trade partner with the UAE and Saudi Arabia. They both have been big time partners with Russia. And see this particular thing, that when Russia-Ukraine war got started, West imposed a lot of sanctions on Russia. Okay, and expected that UAE and Saudi Arabia will support those sanctions, but UAE and Saudi Arabia have outrightly said that we are not going to support sanctions on Russia. So even in the climate of sanctions, their cooperation and their relation is continuing. Okay. Also guys, if we see, a large number of Russians, they have set up their alternative homes, businesses, investments in UAE. Okay, they have established. Also guys, if we see this particular thing, now Russia and UAE cooperation have increased so much that USA is concerned that UAE might not supply high-tech technology to USA. Now see this particular thing. Sorry, not Russia. I said USA, it is Russia. See this thing. When we talk about USA is concerned with two countries, China and Russia, that their high technology should not reach them. Okay. So for that, UAE has been given a very strict advisory. Also guys, if we see, Russia has also supported Saudi Arabia's civilian nuclear program. And when we talk about Iran, what has happened? Recently, Russia and China, they have carried joint exercise with Iranian Navy. They have carried joint exercise with Iranian Navy, and also Iran will get Sukhoi Su-35, Sukhoi Su-35 aircraft from Russia. Okay, and Iran is also supporting Russia's military prowess in Ukraine war. So Ukraine, Saudi Arabia, UAE, all are being catered by Russia and China. Fine. So this particular thing shows that how cooperation between these countries have increased, and I want that please use these particular points, ready-made points for your answers. Now, further moving on, guys. Now, what is the Putin's agenda? What is the Putin's agenda of this particular visit that he had made? So, agenda of Putin is very much clear. Number one, guys, Putin wants to show to the USA that we also have our friends. Now, USA is all the time making high-profile visits to other countries and boasting their allies. Fine. Russia also wants to boast, wants to showcase their friends, and this was a gesture or a hint to USA that Russia is not isolated. Russia has its friends. Okay. Second, this was also the agenda of Mr. Putin was also to secure the cooperation between GCC countries, OPEC plus countries, so that it continues to get its economic support. Now, guys, see this particular thing. See this particular thing. Today, Russia and China are becoming the guarantors of regional peace. And let's take one example. What actually happened, guys? Saudi Arabia and Iran, they were enemies of each other. Recently, China has brokered a peace agreement and the diplomatic relations are now getting started between Saudi Arabia and Iran because of China. So China, Russia, now they're projecting that we are the ones who bring the regional peace. Okay, we are the guarantors of regional peace. And Mr. Putin have, and China, see, Russia and China friendship is already thriving. And probably in this particular visit, Russia presented to the West Asia that we, that is I, Russia and China, are the ones who will provide you security, will provide you economic support, economic cooperation. Also guys, what has happened? Mr. Putin would sought the support of Gulf interlocutors into the post-Gaza scenario. Now, already I've discussed this particular point, that now after the Israel-Gaza issue that has happened, in the Gulf world, sympathies for Gaza Palestinians have increased. And as Palestinians, sympathy for Palestinians are increasing, at the same time, anger and frustration towards West is also increasing. Why? Because West is supporting USA. So, to show the support or to get the support of Gulf, Russia has utilized this particular moment. And then guys, finally, Russian president already made the mind that I am going to contest the next presidential race. But before making this particular thing public, Putin decided that I will run this particular thing with my friends, that is with Saudi Arabia, UAE and Iran, so that they feel special. Suppose I have decided something already. Okay. But before declaring it to the world, I come and I ask you that whether should I do this? Okay. You will feel special that, oh, you are asking me. Okay, I am said that a special person. So what actually has happened, Putin would have assured the Gulf that there would be continuity in Russia's regional approach and will give advance notice about everything. Okay, you are special. We will tell you everything in advance. I am going to contest for next presidential race, presidential tenure. I have told you this. So all these are a kind of a confidence and a relationship building measures that are there. Okay, moving to the next article. What are FSB's concerns about crypto asset intermediaries? Okay, so guys, what this issue is all about? So a small issue, no one need to go too much that in deep. So basically, recently International Financial Stability Board, it has released its report on crypto asset intermediaries regulation. Now see this particular thing, guys. When we talk about the crypto assets, let's say Bitcoin, we see this particular thing that a large number of organization, exchanges, intermediaries have emerged which give services for cryptocurrencies. For example, you can buy cryptocurrencies through them. You can sell cryptocurrencies through these intermediaries. They give you the facility to store cryptocurrencies. Okay. So for example, guys, today, let's say we have the platform which facilitated the share buying and selling. For example, we have many such organizations. We, let's say, have Zerodha. which gives you the demat service, which facilitates buying and selling of the shares. In the same way, cryptocurrencies are being facilitated by the crypto exchanges or crypto intermediaries. Okay. Now, the point is that, guys, we have seen that crypto bubble, it became so big after the pandemic, and then it virtually bursted. And we have seen that some of the big crypto exchanges, that is FTX, it collapsed in November 2022. And they are involved in so big transactions, so big money is involved, and regulation on these crypto assets or crypto intermediaries is virtually lacking. Okay, so therefore they are to be regulated. Okay, now what are these MCIs? Okay, multifunction crypto asset intermediaries. MCI stands for multifunction crypto asset intermediaries. Okay, now what are they? They are individual firms, they are groups that offer crypto based services, crypto based products, functions, and examples are Binance, Bitfinex, FTX. There it already got collapsed. So the report that has been released, okay, it observes that their operations are not transparent, their corporate structure is not transparent, and these organizations are privately held. They are not trading on some stock exchange, they are privately held. Because of that, we need to regulate their functions, and we need to bring the rules for their effective regulation, so that tomorrow, if their potential collapse happened, it might not expose investors to grave risks. So they have proposed their regulation. Okay, and they say that deliberately, they said this particular thing, that deliberately they keep their operations opaque. Deliberately they don't declare what their business or financial model is, so that their vulnerabilities are not exposed. So this thing should be regulated. Okay, this is, guys, all about this particular thing. Beyond this, I'll not advise you to go too much in detail. Draft climate deal fails to phase out fossil fuel. Okay, so this issue, I think we are discussing from last 5-6 days virtually every day. So yesterday also I've discussed, day before yesterday also I've discussed, last Saturday, Friday also I've discussed. So basically, right now, COP, Conference of Parties 28, is going on in Dubai. Okay, actually it will conclude now. COP 28 is the annual meeting of countries who are signatories of UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It is the UNFCCC was agreed in 1992, and it aims to save the world from adverse impacts of climate change. Okay, so COP 28 meeting is right now going on in Dubai, and in this particular COP 28, there was this controversy of phase out versus phase down that was going on, and in last it was appearing that phase out will be adopted rather than phase down. What is, first of all, phase out and phase down? Phase out means that fossil fuels, including the coal, will completely be eliminated. Phase out means complete elimination of fossil fuels and coal. Phase down means no complete elimination but reduction in terms of fossil fuel and coal that are being used for energies. Okay. Now, when we talk about, guys, COP26 that was held in Glasgow in 2021. In COP26, developing countries, they managed to get resolution passed which mentioned phase down. Phase down. Now, developing countries, they are actually today too much dependent on coal. Particularly India is too much dependent on coal because of high coal reserves that India has. And coal happens to be the cheap source of energy for India. So India cannot let go coal in the near future. So therefore, India has always supported phase down and not phase out. But now COP28, developed countries started talking about phase out. Okay, now rich countries can do that, but because number one, their dependence on coal is not that much. They have money, they have technology, but developing countries such as India cannot do that. So developing countries and developed world was divided in phase down and phase out. Developed wanted phase out, developing wants phase down. So what has happened in final draft? Phase out has been removed, phase down has been brought, but strong wording is also there that though there will be phase down, but they have adopted the strong word that there will be the rapid phase down. Okay, so this is something, guys, that have happened. Now understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the fossil fuels and coal, They contribute substantially in carbon emissions. For example, burning of fossil fuels contributes nearly 80% of the greenhouse gases. And out of that, 40% is just made by the coal. Okay, of which coal makes 40% and other 40% is made by burning of oil and gas. So therefore, coal is demonized. Coal is something that is to be reduced. And see, in Paris 2015, we agreed that we will try that global temperature rise should not go beyond 2 degree and if possible beyond 1.5 degree. So if humanity want to survive, if humanity wants to keep the global temperature below 1.5 degree Celsius, okay, what is 1.5 degree? It is a temperature rise compared to pre-industrial level. Okay, if we want to ensure that our temperature rise should not be more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, we need to cut down the emission by 42. We need to cut down emission. We need to cut emissions down to 43% of the 2019 level. Whatever emissions were happening in 2019, we need to cut down to 43%. But what is happening? Rather than cutting down, we are increasing the emissions every year. Okay, so something radical is to be done right now. Okay, so that is all guys about it. And now let's take the main practice question for today. Okay, and I am going to make today a separate video on Jammu and Kashmir. I hope that is clear to you already. Do you think Russia's recent interactions with Gulf leaders have brought Russia into the mainstream of West Asian affairs and will challenge US hegemony? GS paper number 2, IR 10 marks. So that is all guys about it. With this, we come to an end to the today's session. And guys, if you have found even little bit utility from this particular session, please support our initiative. Please support our channel by subscribing, by hitting a like button, by leaving your comments, because your engagements in terms of comments and likes, it pushes the YouTube algorithm to promote our channel organically, because you are the only brand ambassadors that we have. So please support the channel if you have liked it. That is all. Now we'll meet tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.